Welcome to the 13th episode of Bite-Sized Lemons. I'm John. Wait.
No, that would be Alistair.
I'm Alistair, and we have a special guest today.
I'm Nathaniel. People call me Nathaniel. That's a thing.
That is true. Let's clink glasses.
Oh, long distance. Got it. Nailed it.
So we're drinking some root beer. It is delicious Boots beverage.
Refreshing.
Yeah, quite refreshing.
SAR-SPA-RILL-AH. Root beer.
Yeah.
There's a blurb on the side about Ambrose Christian.
Is that right?
Yeah, read it. His whole story.
It's a life story.
He was on a boat and his dad died.
Oh, that's so sad.
Then he went and got a root beer factory.
He moved to Galveston in the 1880s. When he was 16, he left somewhere, and then he died.
Oh.
Cheers.
Cheers
to him. So let's give this a taste. Oh yeah,
it's actually a pretty solid root beer, right?
That's some cough syrup right there. I'm down.
Pretty sweet.
Wow, all the way from Belleville, Texas.
Shout out to Belleville.
Shout out to Belleville. So, you are our first solo guest.
I mean, that's true. I have John. He's a good guy.
Oh yeah,
he's a real good guy, but he went to go visit the Pope. The Pope was like, I must hear John sing.
It's true.
Requested him personally come to Rome, sing for him. So he's out, being a cool guy in other countries.
Chilling with the Pope, drinking some SAR-SPA-RILL-AH.
He brought the Pope SAR-SPA-RILL-AH root beer. Yeah. Ambrose Christian, I think. That's the name, right? I like that name, Ambrose.
That's a
good name.
Good name. Solid name. If you don't brew root beer with that kind of name, I mean, doing something wrong.
Boom, done. Brought some to the Pope, and that was, how it went.
That's all you need, honestly. So we got a couple news wedges. So we have some news wedge all the way from Austria, as a matter of fact.
Really?
Yeah, this is John. I'm going to save all the fun stories that I've heard for John for him to come back and tell.
Damn.
But we do have a quote from the Pope's newest friend, John. And the quote is, "John likes Italian food and Italian women." So
nice. If you are Italian food, you just got a bonus there.
If you're Italian food or an Italian woman, hit John up. He is no longer... Oh, he's on the way to Italy. So there you go.
Well, boom.
All right,
It'll probably be tomorrow when he's already there, and they'll be like, oh yeah, he's not on his way anymore. So boom, even more reason to just find that John guy.
Because we have 100 billion subscribers in Italy apparently.
Honestly, Alistair, if even one person finds John in Italy and is like, yo, Bite-Sized Lemons, what a magical experience.
Honestly,
right?
I need to tell John to start spreading the news of Bite-Sized Lemons all over Europe. I should have given business cards or something, just throw from the top of the Vatican.
He should just totally flyers just everywhere it goes, just leave it up. It'll be like a trail thing. People will follow the lemons.
That's deep.
Intense, right?
Follow the lemons. I like it. So speaking of Europe, we've got some European news. Britain left the EU. So that's...
Alistair from Scotland.
All the way from... Nathaniel asked me, he was like, so what do you think about it? I was like, yeah, I don't care.
He gave no F's about it at all. He was just like, done. I'm American now. And then he's like, also, Trump gets elected, tries to start a draft. I'm actually not, I'm Scottish. And I'm like, all right, sounds good.
Yep, that's true. I'm American until there's a draft. And then
boom,
I'm Scottish.
There you go. And then you're Scottish again. So, there we go.
So anyway, Speaking of atrocities, Loki and Taylor Swift are now dating.
Wow, okay, so that is the news witch. I mean, again, that's pretty atrocious. Like, bad time for them, because you know going into dating Taylor Swift, she's gonna break up with you and then be like, we're never getting back together, or
ever getting back together. Yeah, there's gonna be a hit song. Can you think of a couple titles?
God, it's got to be something about like Loki or fucking.
I
broke up with you, like you broke up with Thor or something like that.
Oh, nice. I low-key hate you.
Boom, Alistair.
God of Mischief. That's pretty good. I
really like that. I low-key hate you. Have you been thinking about?
No, that was off the top of my head.
That's really good.
You're a total Asgardian.
Oh, nice. Boom. There you go.
That's a rough one. So anyway, we got a couple more superhero-related newsings. Superman was cast in Supergirl.
Yeah, which is weird because like that's kind of always bothered me that they previously to this point, and I've watched a little bit of Supergirl. They've just always been like, oh yeah, her cousin's around, but then they only did it like Superman sends Supergirl a Skype message or something dumb like that, like, you all right? And Supergirl's like, yeah, it's fine. You don't need to actually show up in this show. And I don't know.
Yeah, I've been good for the past 18 years. Thanks for the Skype message. Yeah, so that's ridiculous.
Who did they cast as that?
I don't know. Let me see. Do you know what Superman versus Batman is rated at on Rotten Tomatoes?
Oh, it's got to be super low. Like,
yes, take a guess.
It was pretty bad. I'm gonna say probably like 45.
27.
Wow, damn.
It's dropping like the euro.
Whew. Yeah, good job. Hashtag Britain dum-dums.
Way to go.
I remember I saw
Tyler Hoechlin. That's him.
Tyler Hoechlin. Good job, Tyler. You're Superman now.
Honestly,
that's a pretty
I much prefer Ambrose Kristen myself.
Maker of sarsaparilla.
Sarsaparilla root beer.
I still can't get over the fact that that's actually how you spell sarsaparilla. Is S-A-R-S-A.
It's like sriracha. I didn't know there was an R, but
that's true.
Sriracha.
Sriracha.
What's up with all these words? We have a letter, as a matter of fact, which I've been meaning to read for a very long time. This is from June 6th.
Good job. We did it.
20 days ago. This is from Alex Harity. So I don't know if you know her, but I know her. Long-time listener. Nice to meet you, Alex. Long-time listener, first-time caller. So, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child comes out July 31st, and Fantastic Beasts is on the horizon. Therefore, y'all need to talk about Harry Potter at least a tiny bit, please. Like, maybe the idea of expanding an already established universe like Star Wars. Will it be successful? Will it live up to expectations? Will Alex actually do a lot of crying over this? Yes.
Yes, I mean, definitely that last one. I mean, for something that's like an expanded universe like this, if we're talking like fan-wide successful, debatable. Sometimes it goes well. Sometimes you get the Ewok Christmas special from Star Wars, and people are like, "This is the worst."
And then you get a piece of gold.
But probably financially, regardless, like as long as it's a Harry Potter movie, you're gonna go see it. Yeah. I'm gonna go see it. We're all gonna go see the thing.
Yeah. Fantastic Beasts looks pretty good for what we've seen of it.
I'm pretty down for that.
Yeah, I think Eddie Redmayne, won Best Actor last year, so he's not a shabby actor,
Especially with it being not super close to like the whole Harry Potter story, that would be the thing that I'd be worried about. Is it's just, hey, Harry Potter, but again.
Yeah, rehash. Yeah.
Yep.
None of that. Thanks, duders. Alex. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks.
GG.
You weren't trying to thank me, but you know what? I'm gonna thank you in honor of John. Just spiritually.
In honor of John. So, yeah, next, I guess not next week because I don't think John's back. Is he?
I don't know.
Whenever John is back, you're good. Whenever John is, I'll just, you should say the word bleep, and I'll just superimpose the word bleep.
Bleeps.
Perfect. I'll take that soundbite and I'll put it over.
Sorry, man. I'm bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm trying.
Dude, John has a tough time too. There's some editing that goes on. behind the scenes. So anyway, yeah. So the next time John is back, I guess we can do a Harry Potter episode, or we might have special guest. Might be you, Alex. Anyway, there are a couple more pieces of news wedge.
So wait, is Harry Potter and the Cursed Child? Before we get too far from that, is that like a new book, or is that just?
It's a new book, but it's kind of like I think it's a screenplay, so it's a play.
Right.
Oh, it's not a screenplay. Excuse me. It's a play.
So it's like that's the only way you could experience that story, and is it like prequel Harry Potter, or is it after the events of?
It's Harry's kid.
Okay. Wow.
I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Or Ron's kid. It's someone's kid.
Okay. So
and
it's
the
like
child
Harry Potter
is cursed.
Gen 2, and they're cursed.
Sure. Yeah, it's Johto for Harry Potter.
There we go. Got it.
Pokemon Johto. Harry Potter Johto. Yeah, so it's a play, but you can also get the book. J.K. wrote the book as well.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
Well, neat.
Yeah.
I always like when they kind of do that. Like, again, keeping it somewhat distant. Like, don't unwrap Harry's story and be like, oh yeah, here's Voldemort Jr. mixed son person that Harry's got to fight now too. Like, that's the worst when people do sort of things like that.
I don't know why I'm ripping this apart, but I am. I
mean, you want to save the Ambrose Kristen for life. You're just pulling it off the bottle so you can like frame it on a wall.
I'm gonna wear it like a name tag.
Boom! Look at that.
SAR-SPA-RILL-AH. SAR-SPA-RILL-AH is my name. Okay, cool. So we got some Justice League updates. Let's take a look at that. Some of this is nonsense. So, Justice League movie will be. This is all from like EU.
E3.
Oh, too soon. Shudders.
Shudders.
E3, and they also like from interviews. So, Justice League movie will be much lighter tone than Batman vs Superman and more inclusive for younger audience. So, hopefully they're not just
doing like super dark like freaking Batman v Superman.
Also, I hope they're not going like exactly copying Marvel.
I mean, yeah, to a certain extent. Like, it's nice that DC's at least trying to make some more adult stuff, but
yeah,
like certain times it's not been so great.
Justice League is only set a few months after Batman vs Superman, and Batman has a new sense of humanity, as in he's not breaking people's necks left and right and running cars over them and shooting them in the neck.
That was, it was pretty brutal when Batman's like, I'm gonna shoot explosive rounds at a dude from my Batmobile, and it's like, all right, Batman doesn't kill people, but okay.
That guy's 100% dead.
There's like either that or he's gonna come back as like Batman's new supervillain, where he's been like super cyborged or something.
Yeah.
But
so Darkseid will most likely make an appearance. Apparently 30,000 years ago, humans, the Amazons, and Atlanteans fought off Darkseid.
Well, that's kind of neat.
30,000 years ago, humans?
That's a long time.
They were not doing well back then.
Yeah, no, I'd be impressed. Like, I don't know. Maybe they're doing like a thing where Darkseid showed up and like knocked humanity back to the Stone Age or something. Or maybe the humans were just like...
I like that.
Maybe they were just like, we're cavemen. We're going to use our caveman sticks to beat Darkseid.
Probably. Jim Gordon will look identical to comic book portrayal. So J.K. Simmons is going to have hair and a mustache.
Which is pretty cool. I mean...
Gonna hair him up.
Honestly, all the people who played like Gordon in most of the things have been pretty solid versions of Gordon.
Like, the thing is, he's easy to cast.
It's true because
he's a real person.
Yeah, and he's like he's very much in the archetype of like what all cops in common media are now. They're just the grizzled old cop guy who's like, grizzled but also heart of gold kind of thing.
Commissioner. Yeah, so Cyborg will have a completely CGI suit, which is kind of cool.
I mean, yeah, I'm not really surprised there. Like, the amount of practical effects that would go into like making a suit for him to wear all the time. It'd be crazy. Yeah.
Aquaman has a strong personality in Justice League, and there are parademons to play a large part in Justice League. So.
I mean, that was one of the things that kind of really confused me about Batman v Superman was like the dream sequence where it's very clearly parademons and the Omega symbol for Darkseid on the ground, and it's like, okay, I mean, but this is a dream, I guess. And then he sees the Flash too, and that's also a dream, but then the Flash is actually in that movie and stuff, and it's like,
oh yeah, have you heard about Flashpoint?
They said that's gonna be super neat, right?
Yes. Yeah, because Justin Hurst commented on one of our posts, and he was like, "I just want Dark Aquaman."
Right? Like, dang.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
Flashpoint's so good. We could talk. I could spend like a whole hour talking about
Flashpoint.
Did you see the animated movie they made of that?
Boy, did I!
Amazing.
Yeah,
that was like the greatest movie. Like
Thomas Wayne is
so like
terrifying, dude.
Such a good movie.
So, speaking of all this superhero movie news, we're gonna hop on a segue and go right into this.
Ride my Segway. Strolling along like
something
Paul
that Paul Blart 2, Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, so John hasn't seen a lot of the Avengers, or actually he hasn't seen most of the Marvel MCU movies. So I thought we'd take this opportunity and bring in an expert.
Yo.
And that is Nathaniel. And yeah, we're going to discuss some of MCU, and I guess we can touch on...
I mean, we've already talked a little bit about like Batman v Superman.
That's true.
And stuff like that, and the newer Justice League movies and stuff like that. So we can segue our way back and forth between the two of them.
Right back and forth.
I'm a master of segues, don't you know?
I've seen you writing one. What is your most anticipated upcoming superhero or supervillain movie?
I mean, as far as the DC side, I'm really looking at Suicide Squad. That movie looks phenomenal.
Looks pretty great.
Everything so far is so much different. It's what I want from the DC movies. Because the DC movies right now are kind of real dark and real gritty and real like grim, and Superman murders a dude in the first movie, and it's like, okay, this is Superman never ever, like, even in the comics, unless he's going full tilt Hitler Injustice style, then like
full tilt Captain America.
Yeah, exactly.
Hail Hydra.
Well, that one. Well, that's a whole nother thing we can talk about in a minute. But Suicide Squad has like a sense of humor to it. It's not super like pure dark hate, whatever. And that actually looks really enticing to me. Like, a lot of it seems like it's gonna be a fun movie. You know?
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty pumped for that one. As far as Marvel goes, you have Doctor Strange coming up, but probably after that, I'm more excited for Guardians 2, because that's going to be
that's going to be great.
Right? Like,
apparently, it's rumored that Thor is going to
show up in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Well, I mean, then again, also Thor 3 is going to be like the buddy cop movie of Thor and Hulk, which, geez, I can't wait for that either.
Yeah, that's going to be great. I just can't wait to see Loki again.
That's true. Like, they're going to finally reveal that, you know, he took over Asgard and all that stuff. And woo!
Savagery.
The whole part in, like, Thor 2, when like Loki actually supposedly died and Thor was actually real sad, I got emotionally affected by that. And then like the ending credits where it's like, oh, that's not. Yeah. It was like, oh.
He's like quintuple aging.
Yeah.
Aging.
Really, it was pretty intense. Like, I don't know if, again, I kind of wonder if Loki planned that out, or if he was just like, I'm gonna just roll with this and go that way.
Yeah. It was pretty good, man. I really liked that aspect of it. The rest of the movie.
Yeah, really. Like, I was going to say, the Thor movies to me are not really ones that I would say were, like, my favorite.
I'd say
they were...
Thor 1's pretty strong, probably because we hadn't seen it before. And, you know, it was cheapish because he didn't have his powers for most of the time. But Thor 2 just felt like...
I don't even remember, like, 90% of what happened in that movie. Like, it was Thor goes and saves Loki, and their mom dies, elves, and then they fought some elf guys, and the elf guys were at they brought a big spaceship for some reason, because it, you know, I guess Asgard spaceships kind of thing, super technology rather than just straight magic, which is kind of weird to me, because they made like a whole point of Asgard being like magic, and then they kind of had what's her face, Natalie Portman, right? I'm thinking, you know, Jane Foster?
Yeah, Natalie Portman.
That's right, okay. They had her come along, and she's like, oh, this is just really super technology, like Iron Man said. And then they've got Doctor Strange now, which is not super technology, and appears to be
is magic.
Super duper magic. So it's like, why did you go through the whole point of establishing that if you were just going to be like, nah, but magic's real, dog?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of problematic because... Well, my whole problem with Thor was it felt like the world had no real threat to it.
Yeah,
I was not invested in.
I would agree with that completely. Like, I don't think that's kind of the problem there too. Is I don't think the elves They made it out to be like the elves are gonna like destroy the universe and return it all to darkness and stuff, but then it never felt like, oh, the world's actually ending. Like,
Yeah.
it felt very contained. Like, if the world was actually ending, why weren't any of the Avengers or Shield or any of the other players from like the, at this point, you know, Marvel Universe did anything about it at all?
Was Thor 2, was that before? That was after the Avengers. Yeah.
Yeah, because they had Loki in prison.
Right. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't have anybody cross over into that. I think it was the first movie after. Yeah, it was the first movie after the Avengers.
Yeah. So then that would have been like
why.
a really good time to be like, oh, the Avengers aren't getting together for this reason or something like that, or give it a little bit more time before, you know, Ultron happened. But
you know, and then they had Iron Man 3, which was also not strong.
I liked Iron Man 3.
No.
But, I mean, I liked it for what it was. Like, to a certain extent, I really wish that they had done the classic Mandarin, where it was just this dude with, like, because that would have, again, been this whole way to, like, really establish this whole magic is real within the MCU thing, and could have absolutely hinted at, you know, something like Doctor Strange-esque things where magic is real. Because the classic Mandarin had magical rings. That was, like, the sorcerer's powers. He could do all kinds of crazy things because he had 10 rings. And, in fact, they already had established the whole 10 rings things in the MCU as well, because that was like Iron Man 1, the terrorist group that like kidnapped him, 10 rings, and it was like, oh, clearly they're gonna do this, but then the Mandarin ended up being some dude with fire powers from AIM, and it's like, oh, okay, I mean, whatever. And but see, like, the little like mini videos they did with Ben Kingsley in them, where it was like, I'm the Mandarin, I'm gonna teach you a lesson, and those were so like scary. Like,
those were terrifying.
And I get that Marvel was like trying to do like a thing of like, you know, terrorism. I don't know. It was like weird.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that they had committed and actually gone the full Mandarin route as opposed to
the thing
way
is
that they did it. But,
you know, with the Iron Man trilogy, like Iron Man 1, super strong, started, you know, the MCU out. Iron Man 2 happened. It was like, all right, it's one of my favorites actually. Not a lot of people like it though.
Iron Man 2 was pretty good. Honestly, that movie to me was more, can Iron Man get his stuff together so he can actually be a part of the Avengers? Like, there was a lot of him struggling with his alcoholism and, like, you know, well, you know, not really struggling with the alcoholism, but his quote unquote poisoning himself sort of thing is very subtext there. And it was a good movie. I'll give it that. I kind of wish that there had been more of a presence of the bad guy, because he just kind of was like, I'm going to be there in the background, and then at the end I'm going to show up with laser whip suit.
Yeah.
And I wish that fight had been more than like 3 minutes long, which it wasn't really.
It was not. Yeah, you're right. They tried to tackle the whole terrorism plot, you know, with the Iron Man trilogy, and I think the Iron Man trilogy is probably, unless, you know, Ragnarok's bad, it's probably going to be the worst trilogy in my opinion, because Captain America has had a really good, I mean, can we talk about Civil War, or is that still too recent? Oh no, not at all.
Okay, because I didn't think so either, but I mean, shout out to, if you haven't seen Civil War, stop what you're doing right now. I mean, pause this podcast for 10 minutes.
Burn the podcast.
Burn it. Go see that movie, because that might be my favorite Marvel movie. Like, The Avengers was good, but God, Civil War was a fantastic movie.
It was pretty good. I loved it because of Spider-Man.
Spider-Man stole every scene he was in. He was fantastic. Like,
Tom Holland is.
You know who is not about Spider-Man in this movie? Mr. Reggie DeLeon.
Really?
Yeah, no, he was. We talked about this a little bit before. He just thought he doesn't like Spider-Man in general, and
Reggie, you're breaking my heart. Nathaniel's breaking my heart.
You can ask him about it. He's not about that whole.
That's
life.
savagery.
I'm talking to the Reggie mic right now. I'm talking to you.
That's
Reggie.
true. You are talking to the Reggie.
I'm talking to you. Spider-Man was good. Don't you lie to your face.
Reggie, I need you to write in to the BSL podcast at gmail.com and explain to me why you don't like. What if that was Reggie texting you?
That was Kenneth, actually. But
that'd be wild.
He just heard it like through
like,
the internet.
Listen, I love the new Spider-Man. No, I thought Tom Holland was fantastic. I
did
liked
too.
him.
Like, he was so good. Everything he said was, he was very much the Spider-Man from the comics, where
He was Peter Parker.
yeah,
You know?
very much. Like, he was kind of nerdy. He wasn't this. Tobey Maguire to me was very much too adult emotionally, and
He was
like,
a grown man.
Yeah, just too much of an adult in general. He's like,
35-year-old man playing an 18-year-old.
and it's like, okay, I don't really believe that, but I mean, and we could talk about those Spider-Man movies too. Like, I actually really liked the second Spider-Man movie from those ones, the one with Dr. Octopus.
Oh, that was good.
That was a good one. The first one was okay. Like, it was a lot of establishing the whole responsibility and
It's.
whatever.
I think it was the first like film that did the whole Uncle Ben story, and they
really
it.
nailed it with that one. Like,
Yeah, I liked
it. It was kind of, again, you can go back and watch that, and it's pretty rough. Like, when you see what happens to his uncle and whatnot.
I mean, saying that, it's been like what 15 years since that came out.
It's been a long time.
I need to rewatch that.
True. And I mean, the second one was so good because in the end, like, it was a lot of kind of rough for Dr. Octopus. Like, his wife dies in the moment of his great, like, research triumph.
Mm-hmm.
And to a certain extent, I can understand why he did the things that he did. He's a somewhat sympathetic villain where, like, he wants to prove that his whole life didn't literally mean nothing because, like, his wife died in the biggest failure of his experiment, like, ever. So it's like,
Yeah. Well, and also he redeems himself, and you know the arms are driving him crazy.
it's true.
So yeah, that was a really great relatable villain, which Marvel hasn't really had yet.
I mean, Loki's a pretty good villain and somewhat relatable, but
he's just cunning. He's really clever, and that's appealing. I don't think he's that relatable.
I think that, I mean, yeah, I'll kind of agree with you.
But
there. There's probably the part that I related to him the most was when he was talking to, in Thor 2, when he was like talking with his mother. Like, that was some interesting dialogue
that's
there, 'cause
true.
You see that he actually really takes after his mother rather than being like Odin, which that wasn't even
Because
really his
Thor
real mom,
takes care of
or
him,
like
yeah.
family, you know, and it kind of really showed like the dynamic of their family and how he could be driven to become this sort of villainous character because his brother clearly was the favored son of the father sort of thing, and it really showed that, you know, he kind of was more, I guess, a mama's boy, and then rip her, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's true also because she dies, and yeah, Loki just got into a bad crowd with Thanos.
I mean, you know, to be fair, Thanos is about the worst crowd you could get into. He's a guy, comic book knowledge here, but he's a guy who literally wants to kill the entire universe as like a tribute to death.
To his GF death.
Yeah. Which is, wow. I mean, dang, son.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
as most people would settle for like flowers or something. You're like, I'm gonna kill the universe.
I'll destroy half the universe for you. And she's like, nah, that's
Yeah.
all right. I think Kate Blanchett is, hold on one second. Kate Blanchett, Marvel movies. Yeah, she is gonna be the bad guy in Thor Ragnarok. Kate Blanchett, Galadriel.
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I talked about this on one of the episodes, but it's been a while. So, she's playing Hela, the queen of
Oh yeah.
Ragnarok.
Freaking
That's
I mean,
she's
from
gonna
the
be
comic
great.
books and what I know of Hela, she's gonna be a good villain. Like,
She's gonna be a hella good villain. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Literally, this is where I live.
We are in your house. It'd be
it's-
real weird. Like,
Just-
Al's just gone. He
Yep.
moves, he goes to Rome to find John.
Oh,
Reunite with him.
follow the lemons. Hashtag follow the lemons.
I mean, you know, that could be like your spot. That could be like, you know, your whole catchphrase from now on.
It could be.
It's like follow the lemons on Twitter, Facebook, and
Dude.
Podomatic.
Wow. You heard it here first. Nathaniel's changing podcasting at a core level. The reason I bring up Kate Blanchett is because I think she would be the perfect death.
She would be a really good death.
But she's
got that
playing
kind of
Hela.
like, she's got that kind of like creepy. Nothing personal to her, but
In your face, Kate Blanchett.
you got kind of a creepy face sometimes. Like those scenes in Lord of the Rings where she's like, "You will give me the ring," and blah, and demon face. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, this is not okay.
Yeah, she gets real scary in that movie.
God, the That's such a good movie too. We got totally off of Marvel movies to talk about Lord of the Rings.
So anyway, in Fellowship of the Ring,
True friendship.
oh, Mr. Frodo.
That part where you get Sam into the boat. My heart every time. Beautiful scene.
We're gonna. As a matter of fact, because I'm so sad, that's not true. I'm gonna take a break real quick, and I'm gonna get some water.
All right, sounds good.
So, you just stay up here and talk. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll stand here and I'll talk. We'll have story time
what?
with Nathaniel.
What are they gonna be hearing? And they're gonna take a little break. What are they gonna be hearing?
How about, I don't know. I'm humming a little tune. I don't know.
Nailed
what
it.
Are they gonna be
Here's some Kanye West. And we are back.
How did you enjoy that Kanye, guys? Did it suit you?
Did it soothe your soul?
Was it better than my humming tune? Because I don't think it was.
I doubt it was.
I mean, my humming was so good.
Nothing is better than the Kanye we just listened to. So anyway, you know what? Let's talk a little bit about DC movies.
Okay. I mean, right now there's not too much to talk about because there's only been Man of Steel and, the new Dawn of Justice movie.
Savage. And we've got,
I mean, we
Squad on the way.
have all the older ones we could talk about. Like, there's been Batman movies forever, and we could.
It's true.
You and I feel like could probably chat about just the Dark Knight in general.
We could probably take down the Christopher Nolan Batmans for a long time. Yeah.
Do you want to go on that? Because I mean, I'm totally in.
Let's go for it. Which one is the best?
Second one for sure.
Well, of course.
I mean, there's no doubt in my mind the villain in that movie was Heath Ledger.
Yeah, Heath Ledger nailed it.
So amazing as a villain, and yes, I know that's rip in pieces to joke.
Oh, yeah.
Just in case people out there are like gonna be like, this Nathaniel guy doesn't know that rip means
rip in Reese's Pieces. Yeah, he was amazing.
I mean, just that whole movie, like the plot structure of it, it was a really well written and well directed movie. Like,
pretty well written. The Batman parts are a little weak.
The
Joker parts are really strong, obviously.
Definitely.
Harvey's pretty good.
I mean, yeah, the way that the fall that he kind of undergoes is very good, and it's very reminiscent of the comics. Like, it's.
Oh yeah.
They really captured, I think, the essence of both the Joker and Harvey Dent in that movie. It was a really solid performance from both those actors, actually.
Yeah. My favorite part about those movies, at least the first two, is the realism. So
Yeah.
it's not like, supernatural stuff. It's as realistic as you can make a superhero movie.
Yeah, like the first movie is the only thing that's kind of kitschy is like they had this sort of microwave thing that made water not water and evaporated.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like, okay, that's kind of weird, but you could buy that being some sort of technology that could actually exist. Yeah. And the fear toxin thing is, something that could actually exist. And Scarecrow's not like this impossible dude. He's
a dude wearing a bag on his head.
Yeah, which, granted, with the fear gas, pretty scary looking.
Dude, without the fear gas, pretty scary looking.
Like, just, throw up a picture of that mask in the thumbnail. Just,
I will.
so freaky looking.
I don't know what creepiness is going to go into. We'll probably put Jared Leto's Joker into it.
Oh, that's kind of the one thing.
All right, speaking of the Joker's brilliant performance in Dark Knight, what do you think of the Jared Leto Joker? So far, at least.
I think that Jared Leto, from all the crazy stories that supposedly come off the sets, has really gotten into the Joker mindset of just like, I'm with everybody. Like, he got the actor who plays Amanda Waller, and he just sent her bullets in the mail just to with her, which is pretty Joker-esque. That is good, but it's kind of I'm not a big fan of the super tattoos. Like, it's a little too much. Like, if it was just some on the arms or something, I could kind of get that. But the one where he's got it like across his forehead, and really the grill bothers me.
Well, okay.
More than anything.
The whole
else.
point of the grill is that it's not a grill, but it's like silver teeth.
Which
I know is
weird.
Pretty much just what a grill is, but it's because Batman's like kicked his teeth out.
I mean, I guess
And
that makes sense. I guess, especially with it being super duper dark Batman, like it was in Batman v Superman. He does look like the guy.
I like the idea that he has, a bunch of like broken teeth because Batman's like punched him in the face 100 times.
I mean, that's really awesome, actually. Yeah, and if they do explain that, it'll be like, okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's what I would assume.
If they're just like, yeah, he's got a grill for now, and be like, oh, okay.
He does what he wants. But then again, he does do what he wants.
I mean, true.
What do you think of the whole idea that Dick Grayson is this Joker, and that the other Jokers out there? Do you buy it?
Not really. I mean, like, because see, I think they're trying to reference the sort of plot point from, I think it was Batman Beyond, like forever ago, where it was one of the Robins became the Joker eventually, and it was like,
I
think it was the third one. I don't remember, because Jason Todd, died, and then
Jason Todd becomes Red Hood. David Grayson becomes
that animated movie, because
that's Under the Red Hood.
It's so good.
Yeah, that is a good one. And
if they do that with Dick Grayson, I mean, he's the first Robin. Like,
he turns into Nightwing.
He's so good of a character on his own. Like, I don't think he really needs this whole side plot where he becomes the Joker. Do that with the third Robin. The third Robin has no plot anyway.
I'm trying to think of. Oh, Damian Wayne.
Damian Wayne is the fourth Robin.
Really?
I think it's there was
Ambrose Kristen.
Ambrose Kristen.
Is it
Robin.
Tim Drake?
I think Tim Drake is the third.
There's
Robin.
no way to know.
I mean, besides the internet, which you're Googling in your hand right now.
All the Robins.
Well, there's more than that, because there's I think there's the one there was like a girl Robin that was like
Robinetta.
And then there's of course other people, like there's been multiple Batgirls and Batwoman and other people and stuff too.
The whole Bat family. All right, here we go. We got Dick Grayson. He is Robin number 1. He turns into the Red Hood. Excuse me,
wait.
that is not true. Jason Todd turns into the Red Hood. He's Robin number 2. Then we got Tim Drake. He's Robin number 3. You're correct. Boy genius computer hacker Tim Drake made teenage sidekicks cool again in the early 90s. No, he did not.
No, he did not. Still not cool.
Damian Wayne is Robin 4.
Yeah, and he's like Batman's biological son via Talia al Ghul or something like that, which is kind of weird and interesting, but
and Duke Thomas is from Year Zero. Yeah.
All right. I could have sworn there was like a girl Batman Robin at some point or something too. Non-canon. Dark Knight. Man, I don't know.
Yeah, there's Gotham Academy.
I don't know what that is, but
there where the two girls come from, I think.
Well, all right.
There you go.
Do it with Tim Drake. Nobody knows about him anyway. He tried to make sidekicks cool again, but he didn't.
In the early 90s.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I suppose that you could do, like, this Robin became the Joker, and that would be kind of interesting. That's kind of the problem with doing Robin being much of anything, is there's so much backstory you'd have to get through to be able to establish that in a way that doesn't feel super dumb. Like, the only way you could really do it would be if Dick Grayson was it, because it'd be like, oh, there's been the one Robin and then he became the other guy. Like, if you have to do that, then you have to establish that Nightwing is the thing, and then that also this other guy became Robin and then eventually became the Joker, which is really complicated and kind of convoluted.
A lot of people said, Jason Todd is the Joker because of the J on his, like, the teardrop J, and I'm like, Joker starts with J, right?
Mind blown. Joker J? What?
He's also called Mr. J. It's like, people need to chill out, man.
I mean, then again, it's super good. Like, do you know that Harley Quinn actually started in the Batman, like, cartoon series?
Animated series, yeah.
Such a good character, too.
Oh, great character.
Can't wait for Suicide Squad.
She finally kicked the Joker to the curb.
And then got with Poison Ivy. I mean, good for you.
Word.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, so she's her own character now, so that's cool.
Too.
So anyway, yeah, and I think a problem that DC has is that they're going too big too quick.
I would absolutely agree with that. It seems really weird to me that they're like, we're going to do Justice League and then give everybody their own solo movies. It's like, no, you should give everybody the solo movies. That way they're actually invested in the characters.
Yeah.
So then when you do your Avengers-style team-up, it actually matters when the Hulk shows up kind of last minute and you're like, okay, cool.
Not that we would care about your characters, because the way you're doing them is pretty boring.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Superman is just like, I'm going to go cry to a vision of my father.
Man of Steel. Ooh, boy.
Yeah.
That was a movie.
It was a movie. And they're also, DC's also, the dark side is coming out in Justice League Part 2. He's going to appear in Justice League 1.
I mean,
it's like the biggest villain.
Like, yeah, that's pretty much dropping your big gun super early. Like, I don't know how you escalate from there. Like,
it's
granted, then like they're doing it right, and again, not to really just like poo on DC and then be like Marvel.
But Marvel is obviously doing a good job. I mean,
they've really done a good job of escalating. They had Loki in the first Avengers movie with his army of aliens.
The Chitauri army, yeah.
And then they had Ultron show up, which, I mean, to be fair, I didn't love the Ultron that was in the movies.
I really didn't like him. I was about to say hated him, but I didn't hate him. He just was too goofy.
Way too human. Like, in the comics, Ultron is very much kind of this logical, sort of emotionless machine that is really almost cold in his brutality.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's really awesome to have this character go up against like these superheroes and stuff, and in the movies they just didn't capture that. He's like, I'm gonna make jokes and stuff like that, and it's like, no, you're a robot. And you don't.
The problem was he was too marvelly.
Yeah,
you know, they marveled him up way too much. And like when he cut off Ulysses Claw's arm, when he was stealing all the vibranium, he went, oh, I'm sorry.
And it's like, no, he wouldn't be sorry about that at all. Like, he wouldn't even make the snarky comment. He would just rip the guy's arm off and be like, all right, deuces, I'm out.
Yeah, when I was in the theater, I was like, I don't know if you've ever heard me if I'm watching something and it's like wrong, and I'm like, nope, don't like that. But so I was in the theater and not quite, I went, nope, don't like that. So, yeah.
No, I get you.
Yeah, he was way too human, like you said. Yeah, Ultron was a monster in the comic books.
I mean, I don't know, because the whole thing about Ultron is that he never dies either. Like, they've tried to destroy Ultron like 10 plus times, and he just keeps coming back.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of down for them to maybe do that again, because, I mean, Vision is half Ultron at this point. Who's to say that he isn't just like, Ultron didn't just ninja a little recreate Ultron program, because that's how it happened in the comics too.
Also, this like super being that read the entire internet in like 45 seconds is like, while having a conversation with Jarvis, he only put himself in robots,
whereas he could just be like,
put himself in a database, put him in every single database in the entire planet.
They said that Jarvis, like, they kind of tried to go around that being like, Jarvis stopped him, and it's like, I mean, Jarvis is a good AI, but they literally
He's not
showed
that good.
Well, they showed the whole pattern thing, and you're like, this is Jarvis. Jarvis is kind of complicated looking, and then they were like, here's Ultron, and it's like,
it's a brain
1,000 times more complicated, and it's like, okay, well, this is clearly, he could just kick the crap out of Jarvis.
And he did kick the crap out of Jarvis.
Yes, he did. He did it
and
real good.
Like the first 3 minutes of them meeting. So
it kind of seemed a little goofy to me.
It bothered me that Vision, okay, it was a good scene when he was like, you're so naive, and then he goes, well, I was born yesterday. That was pretty good.
That was a good scene.
But if Vision destroyed that robot, there would have been a database in Tibet.
Yeah, that nobody would have, like, just came online that he couldn't possibly have known about, that Ultron could just be like, woo.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
Bothered me a lot.
It bothered me a lot, too. But think about it this way. Maybe they'll throw Ultron back in later at some point, because
I doubt it, dude.
It's possible that they could have made him survive. And that's, like, the thing that he does in the comics. Every time they think Ultron is dead, it's
always
like,
survives.
I'm going to come back out. And it's like, okay, cool. Like,
thought we dealt with this.
I mean, well, that's, like, part of... Honestly, one of the craziest things is that lately in the comics, and I know because Ultron's like one of my favorite villains, so it really kind of hurt me inside to
really?
not be great, but in the comics right now, Ultron like went to, because in the comics also Ultron is made by Hank Pym, not Tony Stark, but he like comes back from space because at one point Ultron was just like, F this planet, I'm out. I'm done with this. I've been beaten like 6 times by the Avengers. I'm gonna go to space and then I'll get more powerful and come back. So he comes back because he's still got like weird emotional issues with Hank Pym, who he sort of thinks is his father. So he's like, I'm gonna fly back to Earth, and then also I'm nanotechnology, so I'm just gonna like fuse with Hank Pym into like one thing, and it's real weird now because he's just half Ultron, half human.
Really?
Man.
I haven't.
Yeah, but
read
like
that.
Hank Pym's kind of in control and stuff. It's weird.
Huh? I'll need to check that out. What comic series is this?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I remember because I didn't read it too much in depth. Like I haven't kept up with comics as much as I would have liked.
Dude,
like,
me neither. They're so expensive.
It's just I don't have the time. Honestly, I have a job and
Yeah.
life, video games, Overwatch.
Overwatch. Yeah, Winston's taking up your time. Gorilla Grodd sitting in the corner crying. You only got
He's
time
like,
for.
I did it first.
You only got time for one hyper intelligent
Gorilla Man.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I'm really excited for Suicide Squad, like we said. Also, Marvel, you've got some good stuff coming up, like you said, Guardians of the Galaxy. That's another thing. Here's even another thing. You've got Zack Snyder directing, Man of Steel.
Yeah. Dawn of Justice.
And Justice League. And 2 of those are failures, and one of them's not out yet. So
yeah, I wonder how. Maybe there's a pattern here.
Maybe
bit.
They're trying to get like a Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
Who did the Avengers, and they're 2 of the most successful films of all time.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, Zack Snyder was. I mean, he has a style that could be kind of similar to Christopher Nolan's, where it's very dark, sort of. He did 300, which was a very dark kind of grim movie. Which, and if they're kind of trying to make like Christopher Nolan-esque Batman movies, like Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises and Dark Knight Returns, the original Dark, or is it?
Batman Begins.
Batman Begins. That's right. Fuck.
Dark Knight
Rises. Which
Dark Knight dies. Dark Knight returns. Dark Knight in Paris. Dark Knight waves to Alfred.
Dark Knight 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Dark Knight 2 Electric Boogaloo. Nailed it. I think that's what the third one's called.
I mean,
so you got
sure.
Batman Begins, Dark Knight 2 Electric Boogaloo. Nailed it.
That third movie was.
It was weak.
It was bad.
I liked Bane, as a matter of fact, and no one else seemed to.
He just wasn't Bane from the comics, like, at all.
Not at all.
He was just like, I'm gonna be a creepy guy with a mask who's gonna be about communism. Word.
Yeah.
Like,
I like Tom Hardy a lot.
Yeah, I mean, he was good for his character.
He was also huge, dude.
He was pretty jacked.
He got jacked for that movie.
But I mean, to a certain extent, like, Bane is like Hulk-like in the comics. Like, he's just
he's enormous,
super ripped, and
he's also Mexican.
Yeah, which totally not at all Mexican.
He was English. It was like
English, and it's like, all right,
that's weird.
Sure.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I mean, again, they were following The Dark Knight, which was, I'm kind of torn because The Dark Knight was like my favorite movie for a long time. Mm-hmm. It was just so good. Everything about the Joker was fantastic, and I loved it. But honestly, like, the Marvel MCU crushes DC in that. Like, 2 good movies of Batman Begins and Dark Knight don't really make up for all the good Marvel
18
movies.
Pretty good movies and like 5 great
Captain
ones.
Captain America Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War.
Cap 1 for me is all right. Winter Soldier's like, okay, I see what's going on here. And Civil War was just incredible.
Civil War was like, it knocked it out of the park. It was.
I think it's probably the best MCU movie. Not my favorite, but I think it's the best.
I'm kind of with you there, yeah, because it really leaned so heavily on all of the movies that came before it, because it would not be possible to do that in the Marvel MCU at all, because you wouldn't care about which side was fighting with which side in the slightest bit. It would be a lot like that scene in Batman v Superman where you're like, oh, I guess Batman's fighting Superman now, okay.
I guess they're not fighting anymore. All right.
Martha, it's over.
Martha! Not Martha.
That made me so mad. Like, if they had happened to have mothers with different names, Batman would have straight up murdered Superman.
It's true. Lex would have taken over the world.
That kills me inside. That just makes me not about
What did you think of the Lex Luthor? We're just jumping.
We're
leapfrogging.
I told you, Alistair, we're segueing back and forth.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I mean, I actually did kind of like Lex Luthor, especially when he actually was bald at the end. I was like, okay, this actually feels Lex Luthor. And I mean, it's very Lex Luthor to like sort of pit them against each other. Mm-hmm. But if we're comparing like guys who used superheroes and pitted them against each other, Baron Zemo from freaking Civil War
pretty good.
Did that so much more. Like the whole scene there at the end where, spoilers, if you haven't seen Civil War, stop, go see Civil War.
If you haven't seen it, why are you listening to this?
But the part where he and like the Black Panther's there, and Black Panther's like, you've been consumed by your Avengers, I don't want to be you, and he's like, I couldn't beat the Avengers on my own. Better men than me have tried. So I got them to do it to each other, to destroy each other.
Savage.
It's like, oh.
You know, the most incredible part for that movie was, for me, it wasn't even Spider-Man showing up and Spider-Man like kicking the crap out of Captain America for a couple seconds. It was when when Captain America hits Spider-Man with that shield, that boy's neck is broken.
For sure.
Yeah, anyway.
But, I mean, Spider-Man comics, whatever. I can look past that. If we're arguing logic here, Ant-Man being like 40, like a building tall, you know?
Yeah. My favorite part of Civil War was when Black Panther was talking to Baron Zemo, and Baron Zemo's like, I have no use for the living, and he shoots himself, but Black Panther puts his hand, like his vibranium hand,
like, nope,
and he's like, the living are not done with you yet.
Oh, I mean, if we're gonna talk about characters from Civil War that were really good, Black Panther in general was amazing. Like, what a solid character. That actor did such. I don't know what that actor's name is, by the way. Do you know? Because I recognize
Michael Chadwick, I think is his name.
He's a good actor. Like
something Chad.
I mean, the whole Black Panther arc in that movie was fantastic because it got to you right away when he's with his dad, and then his dad like dies basically in his arms, and it's like when he's like, okay, the mantle of Black Panther has been passed on to me. I was like, whew,
yeah,
okay, all right, I'm not gonna miss you, man.
When T'Challa died, and oh man,
oof.
Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman.
What a name, dude.
Right up there with Ambrose Kristen.
All right, everybody, let us know who has a better name, Chadwick Boseman or Ambrose Kristen, because those are some names, man. Yeah, Black Panther was great. My second favorite part of that entire movie is when Hawkeye's like, I don't think we've met. I'm Clint. He goes, I don't care. And Clint's like, I'm gonna die here. This is it for me.
I mean, honestly, I actually really kind of liked Hawkeye in that movie because it showed him doing something from the comics, which he's very famous for. He's very much kind of like sort of Deadpool or Spider-Man, where he makes quips and is snarky all the time. And they kind of captured that finally. Like
they finally did it.
In the first movie, he's way too serious, and the second one, he's like, my wife and kids, and it's like, okay, but I mean,
yeah. What happened
really
was
Hawkeye.
they took that character way too seriously when making the movie. Then at the end of Age of Ultron, he's like, I'm a guy with bow and arrows. None of this makes any sense.
And it's like, okay, yeah, I finally acknowledged that. That kind of makes.
And then this one was great. And he admitted his weaknesses finally. They didn't try to make him one of the Avengers, like one of the top dogs. When Vision grabbed a hold of him and he's like, you can't beat me, and he's like, I know, she can.
Yeah, which
that was
honestly, I really liked that part because it's very much in line with Hawkeye's character of, again, being kind of quippy. He's not the most powerful, but that's kind of not the point of Hawkeye. Hawkeye is like, I'm going to stand up for what's right, even though I'm guy with arrows kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that really worked. Speaking of Marvel movies, Alistair, we haven't even talked about the movies that we
ran into each other.
Yeah.
We saw X-Men Apocalypse, and our assigned seats were right next to each other.
Just completely coincidentally.
Yeah, so that worked out. What did you think of that movie?
I actually really liked that movie.
Yeah.
I really liked the way that they portrayed the Phoenix. It felt much better to me this time around than X3. Like, X3 was a lot more, you know... Well, X3 was just X3. It was bad.
It was. The thing is, they went straight for Dark Phoenix in that series, and this one they're going for the Phoenix Force. Yeah, which... I'm a huge X-Men fan, so, like, all the other stuff, like, I don't know a lot about Black Panther or... you know, Clint Barton or anything like that, but when it comes to X-Men, I know some stuff about the Phoenix Force.
Were you happy with that movie, Alistair?
I didn't like the girl who played Jean.
Yeah, Sansa to me really wasn't the right.
She was okay. She was just kind of dead. She was like, they're all afraid of me. Yeah, that's very much within her acting wheelhouse. She's Sansa Stark from Game of Thrones. She's very much been like kind of the cold, not really super emotional thing of like that. But speaking of Game of Thrones, if you haven't seen that, you should go watch that 'cause it's a good show. Hold the door, man.
Alistair.
Sorry.
Right in the fields.
Right in the field, Knicks. Right in the Phoenix.
Oh, true.
I'm a huge X-Men fan, and I liked it a lot. They changed a lot.
But it was all pretty good changes. I could kind of get behind most of what they did there.
You know, my main concern was that Apocalypse was like 5'6".
Yeah. Apocalypse, that is the one thing that I didn't like, is in the comics, he's, again, this sort of larger-than-life
hulking monster.
Who's huge, and again, very much Hulk-like, where he's super jacked, like Beta's supposed to be, but...
Yeah.
And they kind of got this wrinkly old dude, and they're like, that's Apocalypse. And you're like, oh, I mean... Okay.
Yeah, Magneto's bigger than him. I like the whole thing they had where he transferred his powers.
Yeah, right? Like, that was
pretty cool. Which was weird.
It was super weird.
But I was fine with it, I guess. They were like, we need to make Professor X bald at some point.
And that was a good way to do it, honestly.
Have you seen that picture? You know when in X3, when Professor X and Magneto go and visit Jean when she's like a kid, and it's, you know, Patrick Stewart and Sarah McKellen. And that's...
Okay, so that was another thing that really confused me. Is the timeline now is even
timeline's
more
so jacked up.
Like, because they apparently have Sansa when she's a teenager, but Professor X is still like 40 then, and it's like, but wait, in the other X3 movie, you see, like, also Archangel was like a kid in like the first, like he aged into being like an older dude.
Well, he's dead now.
I know, and also sucks to be the guy whose superpower is flying and then dies in a plane crash.
Savage. Too soon, man.
Man.
Yeah, his body would have been mangled. He had like a scratch on his forehead. I was like, nah, I don't think so.
Nope.
Here's the deal. So in this movie, you've got Jean Grey, who's like, I don't know, like 20?
Something like that. Looks
18,
about
19,
that age,
20 is supposed to be. And it's 1983.
Yeah.
And Professor X is like 30.
Yeah.
And then in 1986, in X-Men 3, Jean is like 4.
Which makes no sense. I guess
Patrick
you could say
Stewart's like 60. It's like, what is happening?
I guess you could say, like, I don't know, Wolverine traveled back into the past and somehow mutants got born earlier, but that makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, okay, here's the deal. The only thing that's in continuity now is Last Stand, or excuse me, that's
First
literally
Class.
What we're saying is not in continuity. First Class, Days of Future Past, at least half of it is. Yeah. And then Apocalypse.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I'm okay with that. Like, it is a good continuity to have right now. Those are like 3 of the best X-Men movies in my opinions. But it's real weird because those other X-Men movies are just not anything anymore. But I mean, I don't know. Yeah. How do you feel about the upcoming Old Man Logan too?
I don't know how they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Because... Right? Okay, here's the deal. Patrick Stewart's in it playing Professor X. Yeah. And it's
so then
like,
is it like past the end of the Days of Future Past end credit scene where you see like Logan at the school with like all the old actors then too?
It's way past that.
So it's got to be, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't know if you've seen the set pictures, but
yeah, he's super Old Man Logan, which I'm okay with. Like, that was a cool
well, he's not like the super Old Man Logan.
That's true.
Also, they don't have Blind Hawkeye, which is sad. Because he's a great character.
But, you know,
Yeah, and then
across the
Hulk
continuities.
as well. I mean,
Yeah.
they have like nothing from Old Man Logan except from Logan.
True.
Something that I'm looking forward to though, it's rumored that X-23 is in this movie.
I'm totally down for that.
I'm super down for that. I don't know if that means she's gonna do some time travel stuff or if she's just gonna go on her own solo movies.
I don't know.
Also, since we're on the topic of Fox, one of the best superhero movies ever made, Deadpool.
So good.
I was watching some of those clips this morning.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, that movie's great.
Just every part of that movie is so great. Like, there was so. It's really weird because it shouldn't have worked as well as I think it did because they structured it super, super weird. Where it's like you're midway through the climax of the movie, kind of like he's actively fighting Francis, and like the first 20 minutes of that movie, and then it goes and jump cuts all the way back to like months and months back and gives you all this backstory, and it's like really weird. But I think that it worked specifically because Deadpool is such a solid, like, relatable character. Where, like, he's humorous and like you just root for him almost immediately.
He's
like,
so enjoyable to watch.
He's so enjoyable to watch, and the combat scenes, like when it's slow mo, and
amazing.
Like, it was such a pleasure to watch. You're
and
like, you get behind it right away.
Every single person who worked on that movie loved the movie.
Yeah,
which is something that doesn't really happen a lot
much anymore. Yeah,
especially with massive blockbusters that cost. We're looking at you, Batman Superman, $500 million.
That to me was a movie that did not look like people wanted to work on it. Like it looks like a movie that was
including
made...
Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck.
Well, supposedly Ben Affleck's going to be taking like more of a leadership role.
Yeah, in the new Batman
stuff, in the new movies, which fingers super duper crossed.
Oh, dude, if you've seen Argo, I'm not afraid
worried,
at all.
But
yeah.
I really, really want the new Justice League movie to be better than the last one. Because
I just want a great Martian Manhunter.
Oh my, that's actually. I know you've said in the past you're not about the Supergirl TV show.
He's pretty good in that.
He is pretty good in that show.
Yeah. Especially for TV.
Yeah, like it's weird that they managed to capture him pretty well. Like I was like, oh okay. I mean,
he's not great.
True.
I mean, he's all right actually, but he's one of my favorite DC characters.
He's such a good character.
He's the most powerful hero, pretty much.
Pretty much. I mean,
I think he's more powerful than Superman.
I would debate that the Flash is pretty goddamn powerful.
That's
because
true.
He can just like. The Flash is so nuts that it's like ridiculous. Like he can travel back in time and just like
kill your parents.
Okay. Which I mean, again, he's the Flash, so we wouldn't do that. But if it was like I don't know, Flash got somehow mind controlled. To
Zoom.
Like, yeah, exactly. Do you watch like the Flash TV?
Dude, I've been thinking about getting into it. Is it on Netflix?
I don't know, but
I know it's CW. I don't know if they're online anywhere. I'll look it up. There's no way to know.
I mean, you should watch that show. It's fantastic. They actually just got to. I think they're probably next season going to go into the Flashpoint because.
Oh yeah, I read about that.
Spoilers. He goes back and saves his mom, and it's like. And I'm like, no, I've seen how this plays out in animated form. It's not gonna go well. Don't do it. But
yeah, dude, is Reverse Flash in that show?
Yes, Reverse Flash.
Spoiler alert, I guess.
Spoiler alert. Well, you find out that Reverse Flash is like the main villain the first season, and then he kind of gets wrecked, and then Zoom is the main villain the second season.
Is there Black Flash or is that Zoom?
Black Flash is Zoom, but they make him super like, it's pretty rough. Like in the first episode, or one of the first couple episodes of season 2, it's Zoom versus the Flash, and Zoom is like faster than the Flash, and he just takes him apart in a fight. Like it's brutal.
Dude, Zoom is faster than the Flash.
It's a rough time for the Flash, and it's like, okay, cool. Glad to see that this is like, it just really established the main villain really well. Like it was, this hardcore beatdown of a fight, and like he did it. And then he like drags the Flash like limp to like the newspaper place where Iris West works, and it's like, "Yo, City, this is your hero. I just royally kicked his butt. Come at me.
What you gonna do?"
And it was like, all right, okay, that's pretty,
Yeah,
awesome.
I've been thinking about checking it out. I really don't like superhero TV shows.
Yeah.
Especially the DC ones. They just don't, they don't grip me.
Arrow is not a good show.
Dude, that's why, actually. Because my freshman year, all my roommates got together. watched Arrow, and I was like, what is this?
Arrow to me, I don't know why I don't really like it. I think it's just because it's so dramatic, like all the time.
It takes itself too seriously.
It really does.
And it's a bow and arrow guy.
Exactly.
Learn from Marvel.
That should be like the subtext of this podcast.
Learn from Marvel.
Oh, what episode? What Pokemon is number 13?
It's gonna be Weedle.
Straight up smoking that Weedle.
Hashtag blaze it.
That's great.
Okay, when at 4:20 on this, I'm gonna put in the Weedle call.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Try to.
Nailed it, dude. Anyway, we should wrap this up. What is your favorite superhero movie? Is it Guardians of the Galaxy?
I'd have to say Civil War. Civil War was so good.
Takes a cake.
It does. It's right now. It's my hotness, and that's probably just because I haven't like seen it to death like the Avengers. Like I must have watched the Avengers like 10 times at least.
I've probably seen about 5 or 6.
Yeah, and I feel like if I see Civil War enough, it'll kind of lose the magic. But like I remember just seeing it that time in theater, and I was like, "This is an amazing movie. I'm gonna buy this movie. Like watch it too many times.
Watch it till I hate it. And then until I love it again. Because I saw that movie 3 times in theaters.
Yeah,
and dude,
so good.
Still good every time. I think my favorite's gonna be. Dude, it might actually be Apocalypse.
Apocalypse was a good movie.
I love X-Men. Love Nightcrawler. Love Magneto.
That was kind of one of the things that bothered me about the old X-Men trilogies. Is Nightcrawler was like in the first one, and then it was just like, yeah, no.
Yeah, he was in X2, and then just kind of disappeared.
And it was like no explanation. Nobody even talked about it. It was like, oh, okay, I guess.
Hey guys, what happened to that blue? Shh.
I mean, he could teleport, and he'd be super useful for getting close to like.
He fell into a meat grinder. I don't know what happened to him. Anyway, on that lovely note, I think we're gonna close up the podcast. So it was a pleasure having you, Nathaniel.
Oh, it was a pleasure to be here, man. For real, like anytime.
Hey, I'll hold you to that. So, all right, guys, you know where to find us. You can just look up Bite Size Lemons on Podomatic or Facebook. You can find us at the BSL podcast at gmail.com or Twitter.
And,
also,
you know, that YouTube and
that's true, on YouTube.
Hashtag follow the lemons.
Hashtag follow the lemons. Let's get there. All right, let's high five, dude.